pray 30 days. I said, God, done. We prayed 30 days. We now stop. She says, well, Moses prayed 40. I said, okay, 10 more days. We prayed 40. I said, now we can stop. And then they start. And they say, Pastor, my kids never call me. Never, ever. Not for Christmas, not for my birthday, never. Since we started to pray, my children and grandchildren started to call. The other one, Pastor, since we started to pray, my husband and I are together, but we never talk. He started to talk to me again. And then they one by one started to give testimonies. How since we pray, they can sense God's presence coming back in their families. And one of them says, we did all the forms, Pastor. We came to church, we sang, we returned tithe, we did everything, but had no power. Since we started to pray, we can sense God's presence and power. Please, Pastor, don't stop it. So how could I stop it? I said, okay, how long do you want to go? She says, as long as it takes, Pastor. I said, I am in trouble. We prayed another month. And I said, now should we stop? And she says, look around. I said, okay. She said, don't you see it? I said, no, what to see? We are 9 people and now we are 60. I said, okay. We prayed 3 months. 120 in attendance every Sabbath. Imagine, what if every church around the world would get groups of people that would get together and plead with the Lord in one accord. Lord, fill us with your Spirit. Fill our churches with people, every single seat, until there is no more room. Can you imagine how happy God would be and what He would do? Because He does the impossible. When we have no solution, God has 1,000. And yet, He doesn't work. Not because God is handicapped, but because we don't pray. We just do all the forms, go through all the routines, and have no power. Because we do prayer as a routine, not the way Jesus told us, not the way He prayed. And that's where the power comes from.